my name is Brandon Shields. I serve as the lead pastor here at Soma Church.
And I'm Emily Shields, married to Brandon, mom to James, Cooper, Lily, Claire, and Hadley.
Today's Resourceful Parenting, we're going to be talking about the book Emotionally Healthy Spirituality by Pete Scazzero.
About 7 years ago, we moved to Indianapolis to plant Soma. And our oldest was 6 years old, Cooper was 4, Lily, Claire 2, Hadley was 1 month old, and I found myself really just overwhelmed with life. I had been familiar with the daily tasks of parenting, the grind of doing the day in, day out, but all of a sudden I had what was formerly my stability with my community and hometown really had changed. All those factors had changed, and suddenly I found myself drowning. And at just the right time, we had been introduced to this book that we're talking about today, Emotionally Healthy Spirituality. And it began a journey of self-discovery. And so it really became an invitation to look back into our personal lives and see what God had been doing. And it was a process of looking into our interior world and recognizing some patterns of unhealth that were also spilling into our lives as parents. And so in that season, I had felt stuck. I'd become aware that I didn't have the tools that I needed to take steps forward in a healthy way. And so this book today that we're talking about is not going to be the book that helps your baby sleep through the night or teaches your children to obey, which are all great things. This book is really designed for interior work. This book is designed for you to understand that the way forward is in your story.
One of the things that I've learned the most by reading this book as a husband, a father, and a friend is that the greatest gift that we can give to our families and to our children is the gift of our transformed and transforming presence. And really the heart of this book is helping us to identify those things that are barriers or obstacles for us as we seek to kind of mature as adults. We recognize that there's still some adolescent or childhood immaturity inside of us that has to be overcome. And a lot of that really comes down to interacting with our limitations, our vulnerabilities, our weaknesses, patterns in our lives that keep us from being all that God's designed us to be. And so that's a lot of what they talk about in the book. You'll hear in this book and read about topics like, there's no spiritual health without emotional health, that we've been created in the image of God as emotional beings, and that some of the things that really keep us from being healthy parents are what's happening inside of us, our inner world, things like naming our fears and our shame and our guilt and our anxiety and our anger, and learning how to bring that online as adults. You'll learn about self-awareness and the importance of paying attention to yourself and the presence that you're bringing into your parenting and in your body and what's happening both inside and outside of you. We'll talk about the power of the past and shaping your present and your future, and how these scripts that we develop in our early childhood can kind of play into how we respond to our children. You'll learn how to find rest in the midst of busy and full seasons of life, and then how to deal with just basic life skills around being a healthy adult, a healthy parent, how to deal with conflict, and how to teach others to deal with conflict. And so let me just encourage a couple of application points for you as you think about maybe picking up this book and reading this with a group or by yourself or with a discipleship group. Create some space for reflection. This book is meant to be read in kind of conversation with God and really with yourself. And so create some space for reflection, for answering questions, journaling, really wrestling through these issues in the solitude of your relationship with God. Vulnerability, it's going to require a lot of honesty. For us to come face to face with our weaknesses and our failures and our limitations can be a scary place. And so it requires us to be authentic and real with ourselves. And then courage. It just takes a lot of courage to step towards some of these conversations. But God has given us His Spirit to help us grow. And to stop growing is really to begin dying. And so we want to be a group of people that are committed to courageously stepping towards these hard conversations, knowing that it's in these hard spaces and difficult spaces that God wants to meet us and grow us, both as parents and as human beings.